Good morning, everybody. It's 11 o'clock. How are you guys doing? Everybody well? Mr. Pretorius, are you there? Okay. Guys, what I'm going to do, it's 11 o'clock or it's 1 minute past 11. I see there are still people joining. I'm going to give it 1 minute and then I'm going to begin with the class. Okay, let us begin, guys. Just a recap on what we have done so far under Access. Today is the last class of Access, and we begin with Excel, which is what we will be doing for the rest of the year. So if we go to content and we go to our Access work, I would just like to know if there's any questions that we have on Access tables. So we went through Access tables. We have done queries. Last week we did imports and exports. Today we will do forms. Relationships we have done. I incorporated into one of the lessons. And then we have reports, which I will do today. And then we have what we call integration. Now, integration is using all of the features of Access in one go. And the integration activity is what you guys do to put all of the individual items that you have learned together. Do we have any questions at the moment on tables, queries, imports, and exports? Anybody? Okay, looks like there are no questions there on that. I hope you guys are managing to do okay and that you all have a copy of Access. There were one or two questions, where can I get it? And I've directed you to the microsoft.co.za site where you need to create an account before you can download the trial version. I know it's quite an involved process, but you guys have managed to do okay. And I think everybody has Excel, so life will be a little bit easier now when we move on with Excel. Today we are going to do forms and reports. Now, when we gave you an example of an activity, the forms and the reports are not worth a lot of marks. That does not mean they are not important. They are critical. However, it is not a large section of Access, and they are quite easy. We do both of them using the wizards. Let's start today's lesson by taking a look at what they want. It's a very short little activity. I'm not going to do the activity with you, but what we can do is we can have a look at what is required in the activity, and then I will show you examples. Now, please be aware, to do this activity, you need to have done the activity that involved G-SPAR, otherwise you're going to be stuck. We're using the form wizards on a table. Select the fields. Okay, I'm going to show you that. Click Next, select Columnar form. I will show you that. Name the title of the form. Then in Design View, which is quite an interesting one, and we will have a look at that. Mr. Pretorius, please feel free to chip in on Design View in terms of the questions. And then in Form View, sort the surname, field name, ascending order, save your form, rename your database or your form to G-SPAR. Okay, fairly straightforward, nothing unusual there in terms of dealing with forms. If we have a look at the second item that we're going to do today, which is the reports, we have given you a data file to do a report on. If we have a quick look at the question paper, I see this is one where they have given you some instruction. You download a data file. Obviously, you enable content every time, as you've seen me be doing. We have a table named clients, and we use the report wizard. Now, I need to stress here, we use the wizard. We don't use design view because we don't use exclusively design view because it is a lot more advanced, and I think it can confuse you guys. Select the following available fields, and you go through the wizard, and you create your report, which looks something like that. Now, in a report, you can choose specific fields that you would like to represent. Okay, so that is effectively forms. I'm going to close these two question papers. Back to Blackboard.
Richard,
good morning, Mr. Pretorius.
Oh,
yes,
you
I can
hear
hear
me?
you.
No, man, I'm having again this. Well, I'm having the speaker problems again. I'm just testing, man. That's why. Sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Mr. Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you, sir.
Any comments you have on assignments, due dates, anything else like that? Eddie, anything
yes,
you
sir,
want to
can you hear
wish
me?
to say, or should I carry on?
I'm listening.
Okay. Now, I just wondered if there was anything you would like to say to the students.
Oh, no. They're on the right track, sir. Someone did ask me also if they can work, like, say, for instance, a group A and B of the assignment. They may do so as long as it's under A, B, C, D, like mine, and G and H under yours. So that shouldn't be a problem.
So what you're saying is don't swap lecturers.
There we go. I'm saying them a group C mustn't work with a group H. That's going to cause confusion.
Yes, it will, because we each mark our own work, and that will cause confusion.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. Now, students, today I'm not going to do the activity for you. I am going to show you the steps for doing the activity. The activity is there to challenge you and help you actually learn by doing something new. So let's go and we've had a look at the 2 question papers, so we have an idea of what they are looking for. To do a form or a report, I need a database. And I have got the report one here, which I am going to use. Remember, when you get this button, Enable Content, always enable content. I know some students have mentioned to me your antivirus has told you when you download Access that it is a dangerous file. Yeah, Access can be dangerous files, but not the ones we give you. They are capable of carrying viruses around, so if you get a strange ACCDB, you do not open that thing unless you know what it is. The ones we have given you are safe, and you may open them if your antivirus gives you an error. Okay, as we have a look here, we have a table. Let's take a quick look at it. And it is the table of the clients with all of their relevant details. And I am going to just double click here because we've got the hashtags and I need everything visible. So we have here our table of information. Now, we are going to create a form based on this table. Now, I know it says their report. I am just using this database to create both. There is nice information in here for me to work with. So let's go ahead and create our form. What is a form? Let's take a quick look at this. And I will give you a definition of a form. Okay, the basic definition of a form is a user-friendly manner. In other words, we are going to give you something that will allow you to enter data or records into a table. And I think you would be wondering at this point, why would we want to do that? We can just go straight to the table and we can enter the information and the new records that we need. However, you may have staff that are not familiar with Access, and by giving them the table directly, it is possible that they can damage that table, that they can go into design view, they can change something that should not be changed, and we would like to protect our table as much as possible. And to do that, you would create a form and you would give it to various users and a secretary, for example, and allow them to use the form to add extra information. And you will see now it is user-friendly, it is very simple, and it allows us to enter data into a table in a different way. How do we create it? Okay, I'm going to minimize that. And we've had a look at, I have a database open and we've got our table clients. I am going to close that table. Remember, every time you work on something new, close your tables, close your queries so that you have nothing open at the top here when you are doing a new activity. Okay, I'm going to go to create, and if you look now, depending on the version of Access that you have, your ribbon at the top here may look a little bit different. But somewhere up there, you will find the form wizard. Do not create forms in design view, which is there. That is a design view. Students, we want to use the wizard. The wizard is the fastest, quickest way of creating the form, and it is the least confusing. So to repeat, a form is made based on a table, and it allows us to enter new records into the table. Let's take a look what this wizard looks like. So I'm going to click on Form Wizard, and it is asking me what would I like to enter. Now, I would not want to enter a partial record into this form. I want to enter everything, and I need to choose my table. At the moment, we only have one table in here. If you have more than one, you would choose the table which you would like to create the form on. My suggestion with a form, unless you are instructed otherwise, is to use all the fields by clicking on the double arrow. You don't want to enter partial records because that's not going to look very good in your table. So I am using all of the fields. I choose next, and it is giving me some options here. We have columnar, tabular, datasheet, justified. So we have various forms that you can use. Today we're going to use Columnar because it is nice and easy and straightforward. You guys are welcome to experiment with the other ones and have a look what they look like. We don't have the time in today's lesson, and I don't want to bore you with the different layouts of the same form. So the most popular that we use, and the one that comes up in exams the most often, is a columnar form. So that is going to show us columns. So what would you like the layout of your form to look like?
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Were you not going to record were you not?
Recording? I can check.
Oh.
See, stop recording. I am recording the session, so don't worry. Does that answer your question? Okay, we are recording.
No, sir. Okay, then the problem is that I don't see the sign there. That is why okay.
Okay, but it is recording, and it's telling me yes, stop recording, so I don't think there will be a problem. If for any reason there is a problem with the recording, I don't want to stop it now and start it. I will make you guys a video if there's any problem with the recording. Going back to the form, we've chosen columnar, which is columns. I'm going to choose next, and it would like to ask me, what do you want to name your form? And you name your form in the wizard. And let's call this form underscore clients, a friendly name. Okay. I'm not going to go into design view because I'm using the wizard, and I can simply click finish. I'm going to close the form, save it, close. And when we have a look at our access objects on the left, we have tables which we have created, we have queries which we have created, and now we have a form that we are creating. The next thing we're going to create is the last of the access objects, which is a report. Please remember this form is based on this table. So let's have a look how the form works. I'm going to open the form. Let's double click it. Can everybody see? It's not showing me at the bottom. This is an Office 365 thing again. Right at the bottom here, I can scroll through my records. And if you have a look at the information here, it is retrieving the information from the table as it is listed in that table, but it is showing it to me in a different way. Now, I'm going to open my table again. So I've got the form open and the table. So I need to know what I am doing. My next record will be client SC04. So I'm going to go back to my form. Client ID. I'm adding a new record, SC04. Title, Mr. First name. Surname. Work number 021.
Mr. Smuts,
Yes.
your EC04 client ID, there is already a 4 client. I think you must change it to EC05.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, sir. All
Great.
right.
I've changed it to SC05.
I'll say. Thank you, sir.
No probs. 30 is postal code. Package. What were our packages? Let's have a look at the table clients quickly. So package, package, package. Every day or young again. So let's try young again. And then finally the price. So I would have a look here. Young again is 500 Rand. And this is already formatted to currency. So I do not need to put the Rand in. I had a couple of students getting stuck with the currency field by putting Rand in. And while we are talking about the currency field, many of you have had dollar show up. What is that problem? What's happened is the location of your computer in control panel is not set to South Africa. It is set to the United States. If you wish to see that in rands, you need to go into control panel and you need to change the location of your computer to South Africa. It says there Harare, Pretoria, and then your information will show up in rands. So Access is being clever there. Let's continue with the price. I just put in 500 Rand there. And date of birth. Let's put in here 25th of the 4th, 1976. So what we have done, it's a client's form. It is attached and related to the client's table. It is a friendly way of putting information into the table. Let's go to the next record. So I've put in a whole lot of new information that I would like to see in the table. Now it says here 6 of 6 records. If I go back to my table, that is very strange. It is deleted the table. Mr. Pretorius, SC05. I'm going to close my table. I'm going to open it again. Okay, we have to, here it is. Mr. Robert Clooney, young again. Do you see what's happened here, students? I saved my table. Okay, from the top, I created a form. In my form, I can add information. That information is sent from the form to the table that the form is related to. And if I go into table clients, there is my SC05, Mr. Robert Clooney. There is his phone number and all that information I entered into the form. I just need to increase the size of that column, and it's changed the date format because that is what I have specified. Let's do one more record. So I'm going to actually this time close that table. I'm going to save it and I'm going to close it. So I just have my form open. Client ID is C06. Title. And the phone number. And all the relevant information. Same package. Please note, I am not typing the RAND signal in here. I'm not typing an R in here. I can actually delete it all and I can just put there 500. Date of birth. I think she was born quite a while ago. So let's go here. 12/02/1959. And all I'm doing here is I'm going there, new record. So what I would like you to look at here, and it's very small at the bottom of your form. I hope you guys can see it with whatever media you're using. If you're using a cell phone, just take a little bit of effort and look very closely here at the bottom of my form. I don't know why Microsoft made it so small. They could have used a larger button. I'm going to click on New Record. If you have a look, it's popping up here. If I open my table, there we go, SC06. Now, if you have a look, it's not sorted in ascending order. So I would want to go to my design view. Mr. Pretorius?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
I'm not seeing the client ID, that SC01, SC02. Do you have any idea?
Click on long ticks.
Say that again.
Click on the long ticks on the data type column. Yeah, over there, go one down. One up. What is the down arrow? I just want to see now. Long ticks, short ticks. Mustn't you set it to an auto number? No. Because an SC, as a SC, I set on the long ticks for a reason.
It's SCR. It's not auto number. We're not using auto number.
But the thing is, the client ID is the heading of the data sheet view. So SKI won't show you. It will show in the design, in the data sheet view.
Because we got under client ID. Yes, I'm with you. Okay, that's fine.
You get me,
yes,
sir?
I'm with you.
All
so
right.
we are in design view. And let's sort it. Where's my sort gone?
Don't you sort in the data sheet view, sir? A to Z. Save and go back into data sheet view. Yeah, go into that view. Then you right click on that column, on the heading, I mean the title client ID. Go one up. There should be A to Z or Z to A. There's a sort. But it's blurred. Because I think this is the memo which it's already been sorted.
No, have a look here. It starts with 4216.
Oh, it's in mixed form. Sorry, I see it's in I see it's in mixed form. Let me just see. Data tools.
I'm on my table tools. Table.
I'm just trying to figure out why is the sort, mustn't it?
Yeah, the students need to know this. That's why we are looking, and this
I know. I'm thinking, do me a favor, sir, save everything and close everything, and then we start over.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. Yeah, just right click, client, save and close.
Saved already. I can close it.
Close it and close the client to save and close. All right.
Okay. So
now let's go into client table. Double click. Right. Right click on that heading now. Let's see. Still blurred.
That's strange. The students need to know this, so we need to resolve this. Office 365.
Okay, I'm gonna go into my. Okay, yeah, but you can't because it's already been first. Table sorting. Why is it so blurred?
Let's have a look.
There.
It's not
Okay.
allowing me to sort the primary key.
That is what I'm checking.
Okay, so yeah, it's not allowing me to sort the primary key. So the primary key would need to be something else. So if we can please remember that for any test or any exam, we cannot
Mm.
sort by primary key.
I
I'm
just
going
always
to
set as a
sort by
primary key. Yes.
surname, A to Z. Don't worry that the client IDs are mixed up. I wanted them to go in order, but it was sorted by either surname or
Or
something
first
else.
name. Or
Yeah,
first
I'm
name.
going
Yeah.
to add, I think it was sorted by first name, right click, sort
A to Z
Z
or Z
to
to A.
A,
There we go.
and don't worry about the fact that your client ID is
Or running in
mixed
mixed
up.
form. Yeah.
It is running in
There
mixed
we
form
go.
because the form is sorted on another criteria. I am going to enter one more record using the form. So here's our table. We have entered 2 records into this table using the form. The
It's
first one
5
was
minutes.
Robert Cooney, and
And
the
bit
next
below
one was Bette Midler. So do you see what is happening, students? It is going from the form into the table. So the
from
form
the
is
table
just, yeah,
into the
because
form.
you would not at work want to give your staff access to the table because they could go into design view and they could go and break everything. So you give them just the form to work with. So I'm going to open my forms again. I'm going to go at the bottom here to the next. You'll have a look. It's telling me record 6 of 6. What's our next one? SC7.
That's correct, sir.
SC7 is
Mr.
Mr. Me an
Locker
actor.
or Locker. Hello.
Mr. Lotte used to be the head of our school. First name, Willem.
His name just came to my mind. Yeah. Willem, first name, and surname
Are
Lotte.
you thinking of him? Work number 021
460
460
and 1234.
2512.
I say.
City, he's also Cape Town. I think Cape Town is one word. Postal code 2000. Make an error in your form. It's going to make an error in your database. Package. Give me another package, Mr. Pretorius.
Uh, what's it? Young, old, and new, and let's call it.
Okay,
I'm thinking of something.
let's invent a new package.
Mm.
Okay, using our form. So we can do. We've got young again. We can do complete.
I think wrinkles.
That's your
Complete.
wrinkles and everything. I'm going to delete the information out of here, including the rand, everything. Never type the rand in if your field is set to currency. This one is expensive because you have to remove the wrinkles. Date of birth 01 05 1946. We have an alternate here.
Yeah.
All I do here at the bottom, please be aware of these very small buttons at the bottom. I'm going to click here. That's last record, new record. and it goes to the form goes blank again. If I go into my table, there it is, SC7, Mr. Willem Lotter, and all the information I put in the table. Mr. Pretorius, is there anything else you would like to add regarding tables?
That's fine, sir. That looks okay.
Straightforward. Would any
Straightforward.
student like me to run through the wizard again? Or are we clear?
Yes, please, sir.
Can you
Okay,
do
I'm
one more
going to
time,
briefly
sir?
run through the wizard again. I'm going to delete my form. I have to close it, save my table, close my table, and I'm going to click on my form, right click, and choose delete. You sure you want to delete that form? Okay, just quickly from the top for those students to run the wizard, you choose create. Do not do a form in design. It is going to confuse you. You use the form wizard. It's going to ask you some question. Which table? Or you can create a form from a query if you like, but we generally do tables. Which table would you like? I want table clients. Available fields. Well, I want to enter complete records into this table. So I'm going to choose my double arrow. And it brings over all of the selected fields. I choose next. I'm going to choose a columnar form. Or I can choose tabular. What does that look like? That also looks like a table, which is quite neat. So that's fine. Let's choose tabular this time. I choose next. Please don't forget to give the form a name. It's hidden here up the top, and you name the form. Otherwise, you're going to have to right-click here and name it later. And it says open the form to view it. I'm going to click on finish. And here we have a totally different layout. You can see your different records. And my date is not showing. This is why we use Columnar. It is easier to work with. I am going to go into the design view, which I said try not to go into, because students, this is confusing. Do you see why we use the wizard? So I'm just modifying this form in design view. You will do it next year, which is why I'm not worrying about design view. Right click, save, right click, form view. My date is still not showing here. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. Choose columnar. Once more from the top. Going to delete my form. Create form in a wizard. What table would I like? Clients. I want every field in there. I'm going to leave it as columnar. We use that in the examinations to not confuse you guys. Don't forget to name it. And simply we finish. And there is our form, record by record. In Columnar, you can see the date and you don't have to go into design view. I just want to mention at the moment, we've been using datasheet view and design view. We have three views here. Form view, which is what we are looking at. Layout view, which is handy. I can make things bigger, which is what I was trying to do just now. So I'm able to edit it. This is layout view. Should you wish to change something. For example, the year doesn't need much space. So I simply make that smaller. SC7 really doesn't need that much space. So I'm going to make it smaller. Whoops, too small. There we go. So what I am in is layout view. So we have form view, layout view, and the one that is going to drive you crazy, which is design view. Design view is what you are going to use next year. And there will be lessons on that, how to do custom backgrounds to the form, so on and so forth. Mr. Pretorius, you want to, so what I'm saying, students, is if you're working with forms, you work with form view, and you may, if something is not working, work with layout view. Please avoid for this course design view, unless Mr. Pretorius has any comments. Eddie?
No comments, sir. The two common views that we normally use as ones as the layout in this case and data sheet, like your sheet like view, the other view, because it can become confusing, sir. So this is just the basic form view and layout view. Design view is a bit hectic.
Design view is very hectic. So we
Yeah,
leave that alone for the purposes of this course.
especially just
I'm
with
not going to
forms.
go.
Your form view, students, is almost like your data sheet view of tables, if you get what I'm saying. But that's
Any
two views.
question?
That's fine, sir.
Okay. Any questions, students, at this point?
I think we can move on. The clock is ticking, sir. 44.
Yes,
Sorry,
I'm
sir.
listening. I hear there's a question.
Uh, I once tried to do a form, but I didn't use the form wizard. I used that folder that says form, and it gave me this information. Was I wrong, or must I study it again?
If you wish to use design view, you may use design view, but we find it very confusing for a lot of the students that are not that familiar with Access. So you may use all three, but we would like you in the examination to use the wizard. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. The clock is ticking. I'm going to save my form and save my database. Right click, save, right click, close. So, access objects. please be aware that you can choose to show just tables, just queries, just forms, just reports. At the moment, we want all access objects. If you take that away, you see how things disappear. You go, oh, where's my work? I've lost my work. No, you haven't lost your work. You are just not viewing all access objects. So access, as I mentioned at the beginning, has 4 components: tables, queries, forms, which puts information into a table in a more data-friendly format, and now finally we are going to do a report. Now you may be working for a company that's selling something, or a bank, or a bottle store at the moment whose stock is going all over the place. We know that. So your boss would ask you to give me a report on the stock, or give me a report on the clients. I want to have a look whether they've phoned them. Another example of why somebody would want a report is you work for an estate agent that rents out properties, and in there is a field called rent paid, yes or no, and your boss would say, please print me a report so that I can see who has not paid their rent. So you could create a database like that and use a form. Or generally your boss would say, I would just like to have a report on this database. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to do a report on the table clients again. Yes, you can tell your boss, go away, go look at the table, and he can get the information from there. But this is not, again, a friendly format, and it can be damaged by somebody who does not know what they are doing with a database. So I'm going to close that. Let's create. Where is my report wizard? Here he's hiding. Guys, when you're going through this, and I know it's very different in all the different offices, don't, and especially when you're in an exam, don't jump here, then jump here, then jump there, then jump there, then jump there, then jump, because it just stresses you and you don't find what you're looking for. Go very carefully from the left to the right, looking for what you want so that you don't panic. Here is my report wizard. Okay, very similar to the form. Table clients. I would like to choose that table. I just want to see. Now I'm going to change it a little bit to make this report intelligent and to make it make sense. Your boss just wants a list of the clients and their phone numbers. I'm not going to use client ID. I'm going to use this time title, first name, surname, and work number. So in this case, I want to create an intelligent form for my boss where he can just phone the clients and do advertising or whatever he would want to do. So it's based on the table clients. It can be based on a query as well. That is not a problem. Next. Do you want to add any grouping levels? We're not going to group them at this point. Access is a very short part of this course. You can group it by title, you can group it by first name, or you can group it by surname. I'm not going to do that at the moment, so I'm going to leave my groupings alone. You can experiment with that if you like and see what it does. Okay. Do you want to sort the order of your records? I would like to sort my records ascending on first surname, ascending. There we go. Don't worry about the next column and the next column and the next column. It's going to give you an option against each one. And you can sort first by surname. I have not got my phone number in here, students. Nobody's telling me that. I've just got the title, the first name, and the surname. That's fine. I can go back. I can go back. Work number is here. That is interesting.
I'm checking the same thing now. Go next again, sir. There's not there anymore.
Why?
Why is
There it
that?
is. Work number, title,
Title,
first name, surname,
C and
work
O,
number.
but it's not shown in the
When I
left
go
hand.
next, you know why? It's number. It will only let you sort text in ascending order. Okay, you with me?
Let's see now. If you click on finish, okay, next. What type
I
of
click
layout?
next, and it would like to ask me what layout I would like to have a look. And it's giving you an example on the left here. Columnar, which would look like that, which looks a bit messy to me. Tabular, which is nice and neat to me. Justified is going to give me a different view. I'm going to choose, what were we on here? Tabular. And I'm going to choose landscape. Adjust the field width so all fields are on a page. Right, I click next. I need to give it the name again. We name this report. Clients to call. So report clients call or report clients phone. There we go. So I'm doing an intelligent report here for my boss. I don't want to preview the report. Well, we can preview the report. And I click finish. And I can print this and I can give it to my boss, who will then be able to, in a very easy way, see Mr. Clooney. His name is Robert, and there's his phone number. So I have only selected certain information for this report to make it easy for the person I print it for or I give it to read. Would anybody like me to go through that again? Once again, we use the wizard. If our views, you have a layout view as well, report view, which we are in, layout view, design view. Once again, don't go there. It's going to confuse you. You can if you want to, not a problem, but they're going to deal with that in second year. So we use report and layout views. Report view. I'm going to save it. And here we have what we have dealt with under Access, students. We have our tables, we have our queries. I would hope everybody has gone that far and created their queries, and you need to create them in that order. We have our forms and we have our reports. Mr. Pretorius, anything to add? Eddie? Eddie disappeared. Okay, I'm going to save my database. I'm going to close my database. There it is. I can open it again. And there's my tables, my queries, my forms, and my reports. So those are the 4 components of Access that we deal with in the first year. And bear in mind, you do your form and your report using the wizard. And that's basically it for Excel. If you have a look in your assignment, you will see, I think there is a form and a report there. So now you should be able to do that by using the wizard. If there are any queries there, please feel to ask them on the WhatsApp group. I would just like to check something quickly.
Are you okay, sir?
My blackboard has disappeared, Eddie.
Oh, okay.
Where's it gone?
It's a sharing problem or something.
No, no. There it is. I just want to check that query I had from a student about the sharing. I am recording. Okay, so it is being recorded. I got a bit worried there for a second, but it is certainly been recording. Okay, let's have a look if there's any messages.
Sir,
Yes.
I would like to ask a question. How do we submit the work?
Okay. Are you talking to submit to Blackboard?
Yes.
Okay. You take all of your work that you have a look at what they want for the upload. You take your database or databases and you must zip them. So I think I did mention this in the last lesson. Let me share my screen again for you guys. Share content, application screen. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen again so that I can show you the zipping once more. Okay, you do your database, and depending on the questions, you do another database. And then maybe you've got a folder or something as well you want to give us. But you only have one place to upload on Blackboard. I can click on the first one and I hold down the control button on my keyboard. I click the next one. I click the third one. I right click, send to compressed or zipped folder. So I've got 3 databases here and or 2 databases and a file. I want them in one thing that I can upload. So right click, send to compressed zipped folder, activity 4.1, 2, 3. I name it nicely. And there is the single item that you can upload. If you double click in it, there is your work. Yes, Eddie?
Oh, you showed me them how to zip the 2 files into one folder.
Yeah.
Now, the same
And
step, students, here, that's what I'm trying to say, is for your assignment. So you take your Word document, the question paper of your assignment, Access assignment, and obviously you rename your assignment to whatever, and your Access test file, you move it into one folder and you rename it as assignment 1, 2, your group, and yeah, and that is how you do the steps. So the same steps here will apply to your assignment where you have to zip the question paper and your test file. Thank you, sir.
okay, I think there is a mistake that is a very dangerous mistake that students make when they are in a face-to-face exam and they are under pressure. And this mistake is so common, it's caused many students to fail an exam. And what I am talking about is following the instructions and unzipping your work before you work on it. Now, my example here is I can double click on a zip, I can double click on the database, and it's going to open for me. It does tell me it's read only, I can save as. If I open a folder and an activity and I open an exercise, no errors here. So I can work, I can type, I can add information here. I work on it for half an hour. When I try save, it asks me where I want to save it. Okay, the way we prefer and the way the instructions work for a reason. Never double click on a zip and start working. You will get stuck at some point if you are not following the instructions, especially with Access. So what you do at the beginning of an assignment or an exam, right click, you make a new folder. My exam, student number. I put my zip in there. I want to work now. I right click. And I get an option to extract all. Now, earlier on, I zipped it. I would now like to undo the zip, open the zip, and take the stuff out. And I choose there, extract all. It tells me it's going to extract them to that folder. There we go. Here is the zipped one. Here is the unzipped one. Because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to delete it. So I have an unzipped folder here that I can work from. Your original zip does remain. I've deleted it now so that I don't get confused, so I don't double click on a zip and work. Is everybody okay with that? So the steps are: you download your zipped examination, you unzip it, you work on it, you zip it again, and you upload it. Honestly, is everybody okay with the zipping, unzipping business? Any questions? Okay, guys. I see there's microphones on. Is there any question? Okay, it's all off. Okay, as long as you are all happy with that, please do not work from a zip. Okay, well, just briefly for the rest of this lesson and the rest of this year, we are going to start with Microsoft Excel. And let me open it for you guys. The last program we are working with, you will find it under Microsoft Office, or I'm using Windows 10, so here it is. I'm going to create a blank workbook. You might not get this option. It might go straight into this. Okay, what do we use Excel for? Now, you are studying a diploma in accounting. And I do believe that in, I think it's financial accounting, FinAc, they have been asking you to use Excel already. So some of you might be partly familiar with it, but it may be confusing you. So at this point, we are now going to move into basic Excel. We are then going to move into intermediate Excel, and then we are going to move into advanced Excel, which has things like GoalSeek in it and various plugins that we use that are very advanced. Okay, just for today's lesson, this is an introduction to Excel. Please go and have a look at your menus here. It is very similar to Microsoft Office Word in terms of formatting. There's your font, there's your font size, here's your highlights, left, right, up, down, wrap text, conditional formatting. We're going to work extensively with that. Insert a date, sort and filter, which we will use. We won't use any of these at the end, but I can give you a little bit of history on Microsoft Excel and your national diploma and the government. Before, in our courses, Eddie, what were they called? What were our courses before? Certificates.
The National Higher Certificate, the NHC.
Yeah, the NHC, National Higher Certificate.
Yeah.
Used to have only 25% Excel in it. And when we asked for approval of the diploma, the government bodies said, no, this is an accounting course. It must have at least 50% Excel. And that is why we are doing 50% Excel in this course, because Excel is the tool of the accountant.
Yep, that's correct.
The accountant will work in various programs, but Excel is what you are going to work with in numbers. And yes, we are going to get relatively advanced with Excel. I don't want to show you any examples now and scare you at this stage. You will be fine as we go through the lessons. But I want to show you some cool stuff that it can do. Excel has columns as you can see, and it has a lot of them. If I go A, B, C, D, and I go to the right here, I'm using my arrow keys. Do you see it keeps going? If I go down my rows, and you look at the numbers on the left-hand side, you will see how big this worksheet is. And for your information, this way, left to right, it is 65,536 big, and it is 65,536 down. Now, sometimes your work disappears and you go, no, I've lost my work, I've lost my work, I've lost my work. No, you haven't. It's just sitting at the beginning of this very large worksheet. You just press on your keyboard, Control Home. Now, on my keyboard, I don't seem to have a home button on this laptop. Let me put on my glasses and double check. On a normal keyboard, you have a home button there. Oh, there it is. Control. Function. Does not wish to work for me at this moment.
Where is that, sir?
My keyboard, Eddie, I don't have a home button here.
A home button. Look on top,
You
sir.
go Control Home. You go Control Home and it takes you back to A1.
Look on the function keys right at the top. There by backspace. Home, end, insert, delete.
No, mine's different. It's got print, screen, insert, delete. Okay, don't worry about it. Students, if you can remember that, you press Control Home and it takes you back to A1. I am unfortunately going to have to use, yeah, it's a shortcut to get back to the beginning. I am just going up, and you can have a look at the numbers on the left moving. I'm on number 1. I'm going left now. I want to be in the location where I was before, and there we are. These things here that I'm working with, to those that are not familiar with Excel, each one is called a cell, and each one has an address, the same way as a person you will have an address. Let's have a look here. I'm going to go across, and this is H, and I go down 6. So I'm going to put it in here, H6. So that is the reference of that cell, H6. I am going to go a little bit further here, and I'm going to go to K11. Okay, I can click in H6, and this thing here is called the formula bar or the editing bar, and you can type in here whatever you want to type. You press enter, it goes to the next cell. So you can type it in the cell, or you can type it at the top here. Both of them are going to work. Now, what we have here, depending on how we are working with the cells, I can tell you go to A1 and do something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say insert the month of the year. Starting with January. Now in Excel, you need to be very, very careful of your mouse. So if you look at my mouse, I've got a big white plus sign. I have a little cross. I have an arrow that says left, right. And I have an arrow that says up, down, which will allow me to make that row bigger. And that one will allow me to make the column bigger. So depending on how much space you need, you can use those arrows. I've typed in the word here, January, and I can just click on it if I've made a spelling mistake. I can either fix it here, or I can double click on my cell and fix it here. Now, Excel's got some very useful features, and the first one I'm going to show you is called the fill handle. That's its name. I'll type it in here for you. That thing I'm going to use now. Called the fill handle. And this feature does the following. I move my mouse until I get a little black cross in the corner of that cell. And I can drag down, or what we call copy down, you can see what it's showing me on the right-hand side next to my mouse. All I do is I let go. And there we go. It's put in the dates for me. What I can do is I can put in a number here. I can use my fill handle and I can copy it down. Now that did not work for me. So in Excel, you sometimes have to give it a clue what you are doing. And I would like it to work ascending. I'm going to highlight both of those cells called a range. I'm going to show you now. And I've given it a clue what I want to do. And there we go. It's actually copied down, increasing the numbers. There is another way to do this that Mr. Pretorius uses, where you will type in your 1, you will copy down to where you wish to go, and I choose full series. So there's two ways of doing that. You can give it a clue of where you want to go, or you can choose their full series. Now, copy down is like every third step of every exam and every assignment. We do the following: copy down. I've done dates and I've done numbers. We do the same with Excel formulas. So I'll show you that now. I just want to return here to what we call a range. And it is actually a range of cells. This cell's address is H6. This one is K11. If I highlight a range and let go, How is this address going to work? Because we will tell you in an exam, please put a border around H6 to K11. Now you need to know how to do that. And you need to highlight the range first. So what I'm going to do is, how do we refer to that address? This one is H6, I put the address in it. This one is K11, I put the address in it. But what is the address if I am referring to that? And that range is H6 to K11. And that is how we refer to a range of cells. Now, to work with these cells, I am going to highlight my range, H6 to K11. I have highlighted it first. You have to tell Excel what you are working with. And here's where we come to the interesting part of Excel. Yeah, we've got buttons here. Yes. Wrap text, do this, merge and center, align your font, change your font, change the size, change whatever you are doing. Add borders, bottom borders, top borders. You can add all kinds of borders. That's a bit hectic. Outside borders, thick outside borders. There's all those options there. Or Mr. Smuts's way that I prefer, right click, format cells. Everything you need to do in Excel is under this menu. Yes, there are buttons for it that you may use. If you prefer to use that as a student, by all means, go ahead. My method is to right-click, format cells. The first thing I would like to do is change those cells under number to currency with 1 decimal place. Okay, the next thing, forget about alignment, we'll go into that. I don't want to change the font at the moment. I want to do a border. And we work extensively with borders in Excel to make it look neat. Now, there is line styles here, dotted, dashed, large dashed, thin, solid line, thick solid line that you can choose. The default is on the thin solid line. Now, if you have a look here, there is a range of buttons that will allow you to put a border in. If you click, it puts it in the top there. It's showing you where it's putting in. But that is a very long, complicated way to do it. I'm going to have to switch them all off. That is the slow way, guys. You can use it if you like. It's not a problem, but it is slow. We have 3 buttons here. I want to choose a thick line, and I would like an outline of this range of cells that I highlighted. So Excel is understanding what I'm working with because I highlighted H6 to K11. I chose a thick border and I'm choosing outline. It's showing me what it's going to look like here. I'm going to choose a thin line and I'm going to choose inside. And I'm simply going to tell it OK. And there we go. We have a range of H6 to K11 with our borders, a thick border outside and a thin border inside. Now, just to repeat myself, you would highlight your range, you would right-click, format cells, and you can do whatever you need to do here. Let's go look at fill. I would like to fill that with a light blue color. It's going to show me an example of the color. There's no pop-ups happening here. I wanted to show you that. Normally something comes up here giving you the color. You need to use the exact color. If it's your light blue and my light blue might look different. So when you are working with these in the exam, we mostly work with these bottom colors. Okay, I've chosen a light blue. And there is my light blue fill. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to press delete. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to press delete. So I know I have my cell H6 to K11. I want to put a heading in this range. Right click, format cells, go to border. Takes a bit of practice, guys. I want a thick one. Okay, hang on. I want to work with the heading. Do you see what I've highlighted? I have highlighted H6 to K6. So the heading will be H6 to K6. So that is your instruction in the exam. Please make a pink heading in H6 to K6. I'm going to highlight that because I want to type something in this later. I'm going to right-click, format cells. I'm going to go to border. Now, please be aware. I know when we're doing face-to-face classes, I remember the students get stuck here because they forgot to highlight the range. I have highlighted H6 to K6. I'm going to go fill. I'm going to choose a different color. That's a bit light. That's a bit darker. I then go to border. I want a thick box outline of that range, students. H6 to K6. I want nothing inside. No, that's not working. I want to take that away. So of my range, H6 to K6, I want a border like that. I'm going to tell it OK. And there I have a border that's not showing the lines here. Do you see the cells are still there? And I think I'm going to show you the one last thing for the day. I want to put in here, this is a clothing list. That's not a very nice heading. Do you see here? This is sitting in cell H6, which we've been working with here. I don't want it in H6. I want it in H6 to K6. So I need to highlight H6 to K6. And at the top here, There's two ways to do it. There's a button called Merge and Center. You can also right-click, Format Cells, Alignment, and choose Merge Cells. That's not the quickest at the moment. So I'm going to, just to repeat, I'm going to highlight H6 to K6, and I'm going to choose Merge, which means join the cells together, combine those cells, and put whatever is there in the center. There we go. Now, if you have a look here, this is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell. The merged and centered one, that is one cell that has been made up from 4. Now I would modify my heading to something that is more useful. I'm still in that cell. I'm telling it where I'm working. Let's choose a larger size.
Mr. Smart?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now, I thought that maybe you wanted to use an odd number of your font size, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can do that.
You know what I
I
mean, sir?
actually saw it in an
You're
exam.
killing 2 birds with 1 stone, sir. Yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, yes. Students, if you have a look here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 20. What's missing? The odd numbers. And it's a little bit of a trick. We tell you in the exam, what size was this one? This size was 18. I want it to be 17, but I have no option for 17. So now what do? I get stuck and lose that mark, or what? What you can do is you can click in here, type the size you would like, 17. When I press enter, you can see it's changed it to size 17. Be very, very careful of that trick. Then, so this is my main heading. If I wish to insert a column or a row, I would right click and go right click and just choose insert. Do you see it's gone wider? It inserts to the right. Now my list is getting bigger. If I want more rows, I can right click. No, I don't want that one. On. Okay, yeah, be aware. I can click here, I can click here, I can click here, I can click here, or I can highlight the entire column by clicking in the margin on top of the G or on top of the F or on top of the 2, as you see. This case, I'm going to click on 8. I'm going to right click. I'm going to do insert. I'm going to do insert again. And that will insert a row below. If you have a look here, it has messed up my dates. And I don't want that. So what I can do, I can highlight that range, A1 to B14. Watch my mouse. That is to select a cell. Watch my mouse. That 4 pointed arrow is to move a cell or a selection. I'm going to click it, drag up, there we go, problem sorted. So be careful with Excel. So we have our heading, and then we have the last thing that I'm going to do for today, something called subheadings. So we will have item, description, size, color, stock number, which is too small. So I need to go here and either double click or drag it. You have two options. I'm going to choose the double click one, which is called auto fit. There we go. And I'm going to finally have here price. And I would like this item in a different font. I would like that to be, where's Mr. Pretorius's favorite font? Comic Sans MS.
Oh, yes. I used
Am I
to
right, Eddie? Your favorite font?
Yeah. It's like a cartoon type of style sermon.
Yes, I know. Okay, now I'm going to show you another little quick thing.
Oh,
You
format.
don't have
I
to
get
do
you.
that there or there and there
I get you.
again and there again and there again. That becomes too much work. The object behind Excel is that it is there to reduce your work, not increase your work. I'm going to click on this style. Let's change its color to red. I want to go to the top and I would like to center it. And there we go. So I have what we call a style. Now in Excel, we have something called Format Painter. And if you look at the top left-hand side of your screen, you will see something that looks like a paintbrush. And we do ask you to use Format Painter. And let me show you how it works. So I don't have to go, yeah, choose Comic Sans MS, choose the size 17. I could have highlighted the whole thing, yeah, not a problem, and chosen the color like that. I didn't. Sometimes you will have here 40 rows or 50 rows or 60 rows, and then it becomes difficult. So I'm going to click on that style. I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to make it in italics. So I have a style now that is bold, italic, red, centered. I click on the style. I go to the left top of my screen and I click on the Format Painter paintbrush. You will see it's showing me by the chevron. That's called a chevron. There's moving items there. And do you see there is a little paintbrush next to my mouse? If you look carefully, you will see there is a little paintbrush next to my mouse. It means the Format Painter is active. I'm going to click on what I want to copy that style to. And look what's happened. It has copied the style that was in this cell to the rest of the cells. Does it now? Students struggle with this. Does anybody want me to show you again? Or you guys good?
Yes, please, sir.
Sir, show it again quickly.
Okay, I'll show you once again. Okay. If you ever get stuck, you just press escape. Okay. So if you got the chevron happening there or things happening there, you just press escape. Be aware if you've selected the cell or you did double click in it. You with me? Okay, I just pressed escape there. I go to where I want the style. I go to the top left of my screen. I choose the paintbrush, format painter. It's showing me the format that it's going to copy. I right click and I drag or copy across and I let go and it's copied my style that I had that had all of those attributes: bold, italic, red, size 11, Comic Sans MS, all of that. It's copied it over. So the object of Excel is not to make your work hard, it is to make your work easy. And that is what we are going to do. I see the class has been just short of 2 hours, guys. I'm going to continue with Excel for the rest of the year. So we've covered a few things today. We've covered, in essence, borders. We've covered ranges. We've covered cells. We've covered merge and center. We've covered format painter. And we have covered autofill across or down. And when I'm talking about autofill across, I'm talking about you can do this. Let's put that Monday.
Yeah. So this is basically exercise 1 and 2, students of Excel, to work on. Next week, we will basically go through 3 and 4. Thank you, sir.
I'm going to copy across. You see what it's done? Okay, Wednesday's not showing. Double click. Monday's not showing. Oh, it's too big. Double click. Between B and C, or between A and B. So you have the option to copy down with your fill handle. You have the option to copy across with your fill handle. And just to recap, your fill handle when we say use the fill handle, it's not this. You can't just copy down. Nothing's going to happen. You have to move your mouse very slowly, very carefully. You can't use that because you're going to move the cell. You use that, the plain black cross, right on the corner, and you will see there your fill handle becomes active. Any questions, guys? I think I'm going to end here. It's been a bit of a hectic lesson. A lot of new things to think of, some basic items in Excel. We're going to go a lot more advanced here. But these are the basics of, I think, lesson 1 and lesson 2, as Mr. Pretorius said. Do we have any questions? Anybody? Okay. It looks like you guys want to finish with class. Do we agree? I think we
Good,
do.
sir.
I think we're all good. We've covered what we need to cover for the first lessons.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you, students.
Some nice features. Thank you, students, for watching. If you get stuck, please feel free to ask questions on the WhatsApp group. I see you guys are helping each other nicely. The one main thing I want you to remember today is whatever you are doing, you may right-click, format cells. You will find just about everything you need there. I'm going to cancel that. and you also have the most commonly used ones, a section of buttons at the top left that relate to your font and your alignment. Mr. Pretorius, any last words before we close off?
I'm all good, sir. It's all good. Auto fit, auto fill, borders and shading, cell ranges. You covered practically, yeah. We covered everything, sir. From the formatting side, definitely.
Okay, and the first lessons begin with just formatting in Excel. So be aware of what is a cell reference, a range reference, and
Yeah,
merge and center as well. But I think we've covered it. I think we can finish for the day. What do you think?
I am all good, sir. Yes, it's been a long, it's 2 hours full on, sir.
Yep, but we have to do it. Excel
Yes, madam.
is hectic. Did you say next Monday is a holiday again or not?
No, it was Monday
Oh,
past.
okay.
Monday
Yeah,
past
that
was
was
holiday.
Monday past.
So,
Okay.
yeah, on Monday we start with Excel, the min, the max, the concatenates, and those things. You know what I mean, sir?
Yes,
And
we
auto
will do
sums
something
and yeah, formula wise.
average, all of that.
There we go.
So I'm going to, for purposes of demonstration of the new things, I'm going to save this file on my desktop for the next lesson. Save
Yep.
as
We will continue with that, sir. Definitely.
this PC. I want to browse. I want to go to my desktop, and you will have a look. The extension is XLSX. I want to call this Excel. Lesson 1. I'm going to save that on my desktop so that we can continue on that worksheet that you are familiar with. There it is. I'm going to stop the sharing. Any questions on the group chat? Let's have a look.
I think they're all good, sir.
All good. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you very